as I was pacing and praying, the Lord spoke to me. Now I'm giving you something that perhaps maybe I shouldn't be telling you right now, but I am. I'm like the Apostle Paul. He said, I have never withheld anything from you. Is that good for you? And so the Lord was speaking to me as I was pacing and praying. And he said, He's given us the power to move the mountains. But he also said, now, how many people know what an advance directive is in the state of Florida?
What?
An advance directive. You have the law is on your side to do an advance directive. And so you map out the things that you want done and don't want done, just in case you are incapable of making a decision for yourself. It's physical stuff. So, you know, if you don't want to be on life support, that's in your advance directive, and you've got it notarized, and everybody has a copy, and hopefully they will. But God said to me, He said, you don't have to worry about anything. I have an advance directive for you. And He also said, concerning the mountain that we want moved, concerning the doors that we need to have open. Are you paying attention? Concerning the Red Sea or the Jordan that needs to part. He said, what I want for you is to begin to speak to the mountain, begin to speak to the Jordan and Red Sea, begin to speak to the doors and the gates to be open before you see them. Don't wait for the mountain to be in front of you to speak to the mountain. You don't have to see it. You don't have to hear it. You don't have to know it. Is anybody with me? You don't have to see the gates for the angels to open them up for you before you get there on their own accord, but of course it's an angel. You don't have to wait to see the mountain in front of you to remove that mountain. Don't wait until the priests put their feet in the brink of the Jordan River for you to see it part for you. What He's saying to me is that He has an advance directive for all of us, not just me. So you can speak to the mountain that you don't see. You can speak to gates that are closed and doors that are closed that you have not gotten there yet. Does somebody hear me today? This is for the mature. I never heard it before, so I'm giving it to you. Then move the mountain before you see the mountain. Part the sea before you get there. Before you hear about it and know about it. And speak against the problems that don't exist. Somebody hearing me today? That He has predestined for you. It is written. It is spoken. It is decreed. And it's already done. As I was speaking and praying about some things, He said, it's already done. It's already done. I've already done it. You know, well, I'm not seeing it. Well, it's already done. You know, just move. You know, freely, unencumbered. You're not burdened. All the burdens are rolled away. Well, I'm not feeling it. Well, believe it. Don't wait for the evidence. The concrete thing to be in front of you one way or the other. Don't wait for the evidence to know that you're free. Don't wait for the evidence to know that you're healed. Don't wait for the evidence to know that you're delivered. And don't wait to get sick. And don't wait to be bound. And don't wait to be encumbered and troubled. He said, do it in advance. Start praying forward. instead of backwards. Does anybody get this? Start believing forward for the walls to come tumbling down before you go and march around them 7 days. Anybody get it? He's saying you don't have to see the walls before you speak against them and pray against them and believe them to come down. You don't have to get into trouble for me to get you out of trouble. Pray against it before you get there. So by the time you get to the sea, it's already parted. You're not waiting for some miracle. It's already, there's just a path that he's made a way for you where there is no way. Wait before you get there. Even before you knew the sea was there, it's already parted. A heap here, a heap there, you're just going on. You don't need that in front of you to stop you. Get to the place where your faith is so strong that you don't need a mountain to remove when you see the mountain. You don't need that challenge of your faith. If you have faith as a grain of mustard, so you can say the mountain be removed, well, start moving it now. Start knowing that it's going to move before you get there, before you're stalled, before you're scratching your head. I don't know what to do. Well, I gotta be on the other side of this lake. It's that flood stage to see. Well, didn't you think God didn't know that? Do you need a challenge for your faith? Do you need to be challenged every day with a mountain to prove that you've got a seed of faith, a little grain of faith? We will have some challenges. But what he was telling me is that he has an advanced directive for all of our lives. It's already written, it's already spoken, it's already done. We've already had everything that we need. And it's already fulfilled. And we should not walk in fear, but in faith. We should use our faith not to get out of problems, but to avoid them altogether. Is anybody with me today? You can say, well, I did that and I still got into the trap. Well, you know, I don't know what to say. Babies! I've been a baby too, you know. When you learn to do what you're supposed to do as a child of God, then you're not always walking in a prayer of restoration. It's resurrection power. You are a child of God. You're a son of God because you believe in him. You know, do you think that we always have to see the loaves and the fishes before the provision comes of multiplication? Do you have to have something to start with to believe that he created the world just by speaking it and gave you the same power to do it? There wasn't any light. He created it. He didn't look around for a little tiny little light in order to multiply it. He just created it with his mouth. And we will frame our own worlds by what we speak and say, and we need to be mature about it. Because if we're not, then we're going to go to the woodshed. Yeah. You know, I told you in your heart not to do this, and now you went out there and did it anyway and got hurt. I'll come on over here. I'll carry you back to where you need to be. And then when you learn that, then you don't have to worry about fences. You don't have to worry about mountains. You don't have to worry about the sword in front of you. You don't have to worry about the pits or all these things. You'll just listen to my voice. You won't stumble and fall. I'm right there with you. If you're running ahead of me, you shouldn't have had to have that leash. Just hear my voice. I got it. I got your steps. I created them. way before you existed. And I made a way for you when there wasn't any way, way before you got to the problem of what am I going to do now? It's just a big encumbrance in front of me. Advanced directive for you and I. Predestination. Whom he foreknew, he did predestine for you and me. Every step of the way. So that our prayer should not be screaming and yelling, oh God! We've all done it. I'm guilty. Guilty. Guilty of immaturity. Guilty of needing the bottle. Feed me, clothe me, help me, and he will. He's not going to leave us because we are supposed to be more mature and creative and speaking and doing some advanced directives according to his advanced directive for you, because we will never be able to decree a thing and it happens if he hasn't already decreed it. You can send the messages to me if you want to, but you know, when we say we'll decree a thing and it'll happen, you're not God. If he didn't say it, it ain't gonna happen. If he didn't give you that word, forget it. It'll fall to the ground. I don't care how much energy is behind that word, and thus saith the Lord. If he didn't say it, shut up. Your words don't count unless they align with his. And your purposes will unfold when it aligns with his purpose. And the mountains will be removed before you get there if you understand that you have that power now to avoid standing there and the mountain's in the way, right in the middle of the path. And those times if the mountains need to be removed, they will be removed. But you can do it in advance. You don't have to see that mountain. You don't have to see that body of water that needs to divide. You don't have to see the little loaves and fishes for him to multiply them. I'm reiterating this because I want you to get it. I need to get it myself. He just spoke it to me today. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge to walk by faith and not by sight. It's a challenge. There's two ways to that. If you're going to walk by faith and not by sight, then you're walking by faith and you don't have to see the mountain before you remove it. Anybody hearing that? Get rid of it so you never see it. You don't need to see it. You don't need that to challenge your faith, test your faith. You got faith. It's been tested, tried. Now we need to use it and walk by that faith and not by sight. And believe that he has ordered your steps way in advance, prepared before you ever got there. So when you line up with him, you can do the same thing. Just line up with his word, line up with his vision, line up with what he has already pre-planned for your life. And it isn't sickness, it's not disease, it's not fences, it's not walls, it's not barriers, it's not criticism, it's not condemnation, it's not fear and doubt and unbelief, it's not poverty or weakness, it's not failure, it's not depression, it's not disaster. Come on! We don't need a disaster plan, we already got one. I know the plans that I have for you that are good plans. Plans for your success, to build you, not to tear you down. Well, what do we need a disaster plan for? You know, he's got a plan for you. Let's just line up with what. Does anybody get this today?
Subscribe to Prophetic Light International or Prophet June Sheltrown on YouTube for more videos. If you want to help support this channel, please send your donations to 40403 Sunburst Drive, Dade City, Florida 33525, or use the donation button on our website, propheticlight.org. For international donations through PayPal, select goods and services. You can also donate through Zelle, using our email address, propheticlight@yahoo.com. Thank you and may God richly bless you.